do, just a point of clarification. I am an attorney, but I'm not here representing anyone other than myself, a concerned citizen of the town. I would like to, I guess I would like to correct some information as well. Mr. Brick just talked about a petition online that says that we don't want Section 8 housing in the town of Rotterdam. I can read you the petition right here. It says, as a resident of the town, I am asking you, our elected representatives, not to change the zoning ordinance for the property located at 325 Twinsburg Road, the old Army Depot housing, to multifamily residential. The condition of the property for the past 2 years raises serious concerns. I understand that there will be a public hearing on this matter on March 24th, 2010 at 7 p.m. at the Rotterdam Town Hall. I do not support this zone change. Nowhere does the word Section 8 apply anywhere. And you claim that everyone that signed this is a member of the Mohannesson School Board, an agent of the school district. That's not true. There are 250 people who have signed this. I can tell you I've signed this. I don't work for the school district. And to say also that just because you work for the school district, you lose your First Amendment right, that you can't come up here and you can't say something in something that affects your town is preposterous. It makes no sense. It's ridiculous. Additionally, Mr. Brick likes to come up here and say that anyone that's ever spoken against this project has either acted illegally, acted with a conflict of interest, improperly, violated some rule, law, regulation, none of which he cites. He claims that Mr. Parisi apparently has committed some sort of conflict of interest because as a legislator, he's given his opinion. Legislators do that every single day. The supervisor wrote on another, was quoted in the newspaper on another project before he voted on it, giving his apparent view on that project. No one is saying that the supervisor should recuse himself. No one is saying that the supervisor has some sort of conflict of interest there. There aren't two rules. There's one rule. There's a conflict of interest or there isn't. There wasn't a conflict of interest when the supervisor spoke on another project. There is not a conflict of interest when Mr. Parisi spoke on this. To change the subject of this zone change to whether or not there may or may not be people that live in this facility who have a disability is ridiculous. The zone change is whether or not this property owner should be allowed to change his zone to residential after he allowed all of this to go on, after the town board the town of Rotterdam had a sue, or they sued the town, and the town was found to be correct by the state Supreme Court that that zone change was not improperly denied. The fact is that now that they lost in court, now they want to try to play some kind of game and get this done politically, and it's ridiculous. One last thing. Mr. Brick, as I said, accused Mr. Parisi of a conflict of interest. That's sort of a big deal, being that Mr. Parisi holds a law license. You don't question someone's law license when there is no conflict of interest. There is one possible conflict of interest, though. Rule 1.7 of the New York State Code of Professional Responsibility that went into effect of January 2009. Rule 1.7A1 says, except as provided in paragraph B, a lawyer shall not represent a client if a reasonable lawyer would conclude that either, one, the representation will involve the lawyer in representing differing interests. Rule 1.0F defines a differing interest as every interest that will adversely affect either the judgment or the loyalty of a lawyer to a client, whether it be a conflicting, inconsistent, diverse, or other interest. Mr. Brick represents Zinc Realty before the town of Rotterdam. Mr. Brick also represents the town of Rotterdam as a town-designated attorney on another project. Mr. Brick also represents another individual before the town on the project. Fact of the matter is, in order for Mr. Brick to represent the town on that project while representing the client before this board, it would seem to me, I'm only an attorney, I don't know if I'm right here, but Rule 1.7 2.7b says, notwithstanding the existence of a concurrent conflict of interest under paragraph A, a lawyer may represent a client if, and there's a whole string of things, one of which is, each affected client gives informed consent in writing. Now, my question is for the town attorney, and I know that I won't get an answer here, whether or not you instructed your client with Mr. Brick as to whether or not, if you got confirmed consent, and whether they voted, and whether they gave their informed consent to waive that conflict of interest. This seems pretty clear to me. I'm sure you're familiar with this based on the fact that you're an attorney, but Mr. Liccardi, I will leave you with these rules, and you can instruct your clients however you feel is most appropriate.